Welcome back to Honest Straightforward Reviews. The device I'm looking at today is the Surface Pro X. Start off with the specs. It starts with Windows 10 Home Edition. It's a 13-inch tablet slash computer kind of thing with pixel sense, and it's got a 3:2 aspect ratio with 288/0 by 1920 and a 267 ppi. The processor is an ARM-based processor which is called Microsoft SQ1. The GPU is Adreno 685. It comes in either 8 gig or 16 gig LPDDR4X RAM. The storage options are 128, 256 and half a terabyte. The rear camera is an 11 megapixel autofocus 1080p, while the front one is a 5 megapixel still 1080p. Security wise, the computer has Windows Hello Face authentication camera. It's got Wi-Fi 5, Quad-Com, Snapdragon X24 and Bluetooth 5. It's got two USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C, one nano SIM, one Surface connector and a Surface keyboard connector. The battery lasts to about 13 hours with typical use. However, that's the advertised battery life. In real life, I struggle to get about 5 hours out of this. It weighs around 774 grams, which it kind of gets a bit heavy, and the dimensions are very nice. The design is very nice. It's 287 millimeters by 208 millimeters by 7.3 millimeter, and it comes in one color, which is black. Now, before we get into too much details, I'll get into some of the things that I like and dislike about it. It has an outstanding design to it. I really like the fact that you can pull out the little tab from the back and it can become a stand, and you can put it as a stand. It's got a fantastic slim pen with it, and that doesn't come with it. That's a con. However, you can buy with it later on or with it, and it's got a really nice keyboard as well. It's a keyboard that I like more than the keyboard that you can get on the iPad. This is one of the really nice features that it has. It has an upgradable SSD drive. Its audio is excellent, display is very good, and typing is easy. It's also completely unlocked, so you can chuck in any SIM in there. ARM64 is a bit confusing though. Now, let's get into the stuff that I did not really like. So, no micro SD slot. ARM CPU is very worrisome, especially now that Apple has released M1 and even the A14. Windows is nowhere near that. The pen and cover aren't included. The keyboard and pen are sold separately and cost a lot. The updates over the original one are very minor and hardly noticeable. App compatibility remains an issue with these Windows phones. There's hardly anything out there you can put on here. You can't even have PUBG Mobile on this or any kind of mobile device. I think Windows has to do something where they can at least get access to Google Play Store on this. No Dolby Vision or anti-glare display. Really bad for gaming. You can't even game on this system. Now, let's get into this device. Microsoft has its first go at a new Windows 10 on an ARM-based platform. While Microsoft had done that with devices such as the Surface RT, this is the first time the company is actually offering it in a bit more realistic sense. So, is this working or is it a miss? This device, straight off, I'm telling you guys, is built for a very niche audience. For the right person, the Surface Pro X will be everything they need in a modern tablet. I have used this for about a month now, and overall, personally, I don't find any use for it. For me, it's neither a PC and completely powerful, nor is it very power efficient like an iPad. However, having said that, the Surface Pro X is possibly one of the most beautiful looking computers out there. It comes up against the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1. It's got razor thin bezels, which make it look very futuristic. And it's got a black aluminium body that an iPad lacks with their space gray. I really like the blackness of this device. It's really thin as well, which gives it a wow factor. Having said that, the screen and body are prone to fingerprints, which make it look really dirty even if you just took it out of the box. Let's get into the audio speakers, which are excellent thanks to the dual front-facing speakers. They're loud, vibrant, and are amazingly similar to the iPhone and iPad sound profile. The two types of keyboards that the Surface Pro can get are the Surface Pro X keyboard, which is standard and comes in black, while the Surface Pro X Signature keyboard with the slim pen bundle comes in a black as fabric. There's not a lot of ports. There's just two USB-C Gen 2. Either of those can be used for charging, data and display output. There are no Thunderbolt 3 or USB Type A, so you'll need dongles, and there's no micro SD card reader either. What really disappointed me was there's no 3.5mm headphone jack. While it does have Wi-Fi 5 and Bluetooth 5 and 4G capabilities, it lacks Wi-Fi 6, which is a tiny bit disappointing. On the upside, the design is very well thought out, with the kickstand which comes out and you can just use it to rest it and use it as a computer, laptop, or just watch stuff on it. Overall, it looks very premium. The screen is quite disappointing. For example, it lacks wide color gamut, it lacks HDR or Dolby Vision, and it doesn't have any anti-glare like the iPad. The pen is a little bit funny to hold as it's like flat and it rests in the keyboard to get charged wirelessly, and it's hidden away, but when you're holding it, it just feels a little bit funny as a pen. It also has magnets so it doesn't fall out. Considering the new design of the Surface Pro X, the keyboard feels very familiar, which is amazing. With 3-stage backlighting, ample key travel, and a decent sized glass top trackpad, the Surface Pro X keyboard is one of my favorite out there. The camera is a nicety to have, but in this day and age, just to do full HD with an 11 megapixel camera isn't too impressive. It doesn't take really good pictures, it's okay, and the processor doesn't really complement the images. Now, let's talk about the real elephant in the room. The Surface Pro X is powered by Microsoft SQ1 processor, which is basically a souped up Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 CX at 3 GHz, and it runs Windows 10's Home Edition with ease. However, to get into the technical side of things, the Surface Pro X runs ARM64 processor, which is different from Intel or AMD's x86 one. While the Surface Pro X can run old desktop 32-bit x86 applications, it does so by emulating it, which they run fine, but there's a slight performance hit when it does that. 7. Microsoft claims that 95% of the software people run on this class of device is covered by the Surface Pro X. The exception being 64-bit x86 applications, which with the most notorious being the modern Adobe software. Qualcomm claims that the processor in the Surface Pro X can beat a 8th gen i5 processor, which is quite accurate. I've run quite a few benchmarks. For example, in Geekbench 4, got a multi-core score of 11727 and a single core score of 3505. The GPU got in 3D Mark's GPU intensive night raid benchmark 7078, which when compared to the i5 8th gen of 6517 is a tiny bit better. Now, thanks to the M.2 PCIe Express NVMe SSD that it's got, the read and write speed has gone up to 2000 by 800. RAM is also so much better with the power efficient and fast LPDDR4X. However, as I spoke of the problems that I had with this, the stylus isn't included. It's not that feeling that you get in your hand. It doesn't have that. It feels a little bit weird and clunky. The screen doesn't have HDR or anything like that. The processor is a bit of a hit and a miss, especially in this day and age. It's really bad for gaming. The battery life is silly, and there's no app support, absolutely nothing. You basically have a computer that is a laptop. So if you are a person, and if you're a trade person that needs your computer to not be super powerful, but you need your full-on computer to be a tablet, then this is for you. For anyone else who enjoys something like an iPad, which nearly does everything what a computer does, especially with the iPad Pro, they're so powerful and got the app support, and then the Samsung tablets that are out there, they're so much more powerful. I would go with them. Personally, this is not for me. This is not for most of the people. It's made for people in mind who just need a few things and that's it. However, with this price tag, I don't see it fitting a lot of people, even if they want to spend that much. I would still get an iPad.
Alright guys, so if you want to see more videos and support the channel and you like this video, please give me a like. thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also check out my Twitter, Instagram and Patreon accounts. That helps a lot if you follow them and contribute there. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.